I took notes. I didn't. I'm not gonna lie.
Blue.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey, everybody. We are broadcasting live from Tidewater Horror Convention. That's happening this weekend, September 10th, 11th, 12th, from the Wyndham Hotel in Norfolk, Virginia. And we have a panel that's happening right now with L.C. Holt and the guys from Still Toking with. And let's check in to see what's going on.
Hey, we're back live from Tidewater Horror Convention. How's everybody doing?
Yeah, great.
Well, at least we got some boys here. Well, there's no kids in here. There's no screaming kids in here. Well, there's no screaming kids in here. So we can go, well, they look over 18, so yeah, we can still swear. Well, I'm going to try not to. Well, me too. But yeah, that don't work very well. Hey. What are we doing here? We're doing an interview. Oh, yeah? Yeah. No, some dude, I think, how's his name? I think we lost him. L.C. Holt. L.C. Holt. L.C. Holt. I think most of you guys know him from Who's Next? No. You're Next. Yeah. Who's Next was a record album. Right? I gotta deal with this all the time. Can you welcome L.C. Holt to the stage, please? Hello.
I am L.C. Holt, the infamous. What's up, guys?
How are you? You can do pretty good. You can turn that any way you want that you're comfortable. If you want, we can kick this over here and put your feet up.
I'm good, man. I am totally good. How are you guys?
All right.
And how are all of you? Excellent. Excellent.
Nice to see some smiling faces. I think they're smiling, folks. I think they're smiling. They're smiling. There we go. We got a smile there. And there we go. We got a smile there. Come on, let's see the pearly whites. I mean, we're 25 feet away from each other, folks. Come on. Oh, I gotta go. She's stuck her tongue out.
What I like to say.
Excellent. Wow. Welcome. So, how are you?
I'm doing excellent. I've been up since 5 o'clock this morning. I got on 2 planes, and now I'm here. And I'm having a good time.
Look at that, right? That's dedication right there, for us. Dedication. You know?
Thank you.
You made it on time.
I made it on time. Even to this panel, to this interview, I'm on time. To the convention, I'm on time. I'm doing very good today, actually.
So are you having a good time? So
am I having a good time?
Yeah.
I'm having a great time.
Fantastic.
Yeah, this is my second time in Virginia in a month.
Wow.
I was in Virginia less than a month ago shooting a movie called Go Away. So now I'm back. I told the people, I said Go Away was intended to be the name of my memoir, and now I can't call it that anymore. So, yeah, that's not good.
Well, no, just call your memoir Disappear.
Yeah, my memoir was originally going to be called Birth Until Death, and it was going to be like, but then someone else would have to write the last chapter, and I was like, well, nobody, I can't do that.
You'd have to leave notes behind.
Yeah, I got to leave notes behind. It's just too damn complicated. I'll stick with fiction, you know. So, who wants to know about my life?
Is that chair comfortable enough for you?
This chair is very comfortable.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
It's all about our talent.
I'm going to hide my water behind the head there. I'm doing very good in this chair. I'm just going to get more and more comfortable as the interview goes on.
Right. Well, good. You got 50 minutes.
Let's do it.
Right. So you've done quite a bit over the years. I did a little bit of research on you. I actually write notes because I can't remember shit.
That is scary.
This is like the This Is Your Life portion.
This is your life. I mean, most people know you for playing that sheep.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. The sheep, the lamb, the animal guy. Yeah.
You know that. Yeah. There was a lot of things I was going to bring up about that, but this is a family show.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can go there if you want to. We're in a room with a leopard patterned carpet. I mean, why not?
Oh, that is good. You're just missing the pole.
Yeah. Which we can bring one in here if we need to. Let's get this thing going. Come on.
So you've done a whole bunch of acting. You've written screenplays.
Yeah.
And I dug up a little thing on you. It was really interesting. I found a note while I was researching. You actually auditioned to be the young Forrest Gump.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I was going to be, I got that close to being the young Forrest Gump, but I was about 4 years too old. I was 12 years old. They were looking for an 8-year-old. And my eyes are brown, and Tom Hanks's eyes are blue. And they kept saying, we can change your eye color. But it's going to be difficult for a 12-year-old to wear, maybe, but, But no, I mean, the kid that they cast was great. If they hadn't cast that kid, then Forrest Gump wouldn't have had that voice. Right. Because Tom Hanks imitated the little boy they cast when he did that voice that's now so famous. So if I had been that role, you would not have, because I wouldn't have spoken like that, So it would have been a totally different thing. But yeah, that was the first thing I ever auditioned for. Was Forrest Gump.
Well, it was a cool little tidbit that I came across. I was like, wow, that's actually pretty cool.
I'm almost impressed that you actually did research.
Oh, I impress myself all the time.
No. This is a PG show now.
Oh, that's right.
No undressing yourself.
No, I said impressed. Not
Oh,
impressed.
sorry, my bad.
But that's
a horror movie in itself.
Oh, see?
Well, there goes the research.
Yeah. So tell us about your producer credits, because I did find some producer credits.
Yeah, I produced, I wrote, directed, and I co-starred in a movie called Time's Up, which hasn't come out yet. I just watched the first cut of it last night, as a matter of fact. And we're in post-production on it. It's a horror film. It's a New Year's Eve set slasher whodunit horror movie about a group of teachers who are being hunted after a New Year's Eve party by someone who apparently blames them for the suicide of a student a few months before. And it's about bullying in the school, and what does that have to do with this new murder spree? And it also has a scavenger hunt in there. It's a horror movie about a scavenger hunt on New Year's Eve. And Father Time is the killer. But who is Father Time? Who's the guy behind the mask? That's the question.
Is it you? Really cool.
I really think it's turning out well. It's a great cast. I'm in it. Well,
Big surprise, folks.
Yeah, I'm in it. Doing my Billy Bob Thornton thing. You got to do all 3 jobs, right, direct, and star it. But it has Damien Maffei from Haunt, Strangers Pray at Night, Wrong Turn, the remake they just did.
Yep.
Hannah Fierman is in it, Jonathan Tiersden, and Felissa Rose, both from Sleepaway Camp.
Yep.
Cheney Morrow, who was in Haunt, and he was also in Wrong Turn. So it's got a really great cast, and some new people. Kamara Cole is this newcomer who's great in this movie, and Madison Edmonds.
Just so you know, we do cameos.
Hey, well, the next time I direct,
Just let you know.
the next time I direct, you guys will be in there. You guys will be in there. Any movie I direct, are you in?
Yeah, but we can't act for shit.
You just be yourself.
Yeah,
Well, let's do this.
Yeah, you know where we're gonna end up, right? Every time we do something, it's on the editing room floor, guys. You were in there, but it's right there.
It's right there.
It was great. You guys,
Yeah. We'll just do this.
Right.
Let's see, what else do I got here?
Yeah, see, he did all the research.
Yeah, I did all the research.
Originally, we have multiple hosts for this weekend that we're all affiliated with, which is, of course, Jeff and I from Still Toking with / Toking with the Dead. We have the Dorkening running the podcast streams for you. We have Hellfire Entertainment Radio and media outlet here, which we are also partial of. So I actually really thought that somebody else was up here tonight with Jeff, and then I had the next one. So I kind of got boned because I had no clue.
Well, we're doing great so far.
None of that really.
I love guests that know more about themselves than we do.
Well, I can't guarantee you I know more about myself than anyone else, but I'll give it a shot.
The comments that just came into my head after that one. Tell me a little bit about, if I'm pronouncing this correctly, Spiritus?
Spiritus was the first movie I directed. Yeah, that's it was an experimental film that we did for absolutely no money, and it had a lot of local actors. We shot it in Alabama, which is where I was born. So it was a story about a ghost who came back and murdered people, and it was sort of a Japanese horror sort of hybrid. I had a good time making it. It was I remember thinking specifically this is going to be like the practice for when I direct a movie with a budget. And now I've done Time's Up, which is a movie that does have a budget. We didn't have a huge budget, but we had a little under $100,000, and so it was
that's actually a really good budget for.
Yeah, I can't complain. We got everything we needed. We shot it up in Portland, Maine, in the middle of winter. It was freezing. We freezed our asses off on that movie. I mean, when you see the snow in that movie, there is no imaginary fake snow machine shit. I don't know. We were actually out there freezing.
Well, being from New England, both of us, we can attest to that.
Where are you from in New England?
I'm from just south of Boston. Jeff is kind of west of Boston, north, south. Yeah, I hide in a little tiny cow town. He's over here somewhere.
My first AD in Time's Up was from Boston. Yeah, great guy.
But no, Maine's a beautiful state. I wish they would do more movies up there. I would love to do movies in Maine. Is that when the body goes missing, they really do look for it.
Right. Yeah, I would love to do another movie in Maine as long as it's in the summer. I think I'm done with my winter Maine movies for now, for a little bit.
Yeah, right. Oh yeah, well it gets damn cold. I've been on top of Sugarloaf when it was -40, so.
It's unbelievable. Yeah.
Can I ask a question? No. What the hell does that have to do with any of the movies he's been in? We were talking about freaking cold. Oh, okay, yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. You know what cold is?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Ask me about it.
You also did a short film.
Yeah.
Angie Goes on a Date.
Oh my God. Oh dear. That was
yes, folks, get comfortable for this one.
Yeah, that short film was absolutely terrible.
Well, at least he's honest, folks.
Yeah, no, that was something I wrote for a guy I knew was an actor. He created this character, and he wanted me to write a short for it, and he wanted to do it like a TV pilot, and I didn't really get it. I didn't get the joke of what the character was supposed to be. And he asked me to do like a 10-minute short, and I wrote it, and then I watched the movie, and it was like none of it was what I wrote, and there were jokes in there that like I would never have written, and that was probably the first experience when I learned that if you want to keep what you wrote, if you wanted to keep it, the integrity of it, you really have to direct it, and you have to produce. You have to have a hand in it. When you write something and hand it over to somebody else, I mean, if you're a work for hire writer, they can do whatever they want to it.
And they usually butcher it.
They'll just do whatever. And then you always have the situation where, or if you're a work for hire writer, where, it's like, you turn something in and then somebody glances over it, they sort of skim over it one time, and then they go and they watch the Discovery Channel or something, and they see a documentary about alpacas or something, and they're coming the next day and they're like, hey, I saw this documentary about alpacas. Could you put an alpaca in the movie? And you're like, well, I guess I could. I don't know why I would.
They needed something to spit.
Yeah, they'll rear back their ears and they'll spit right in your face. There was an alpaca on Time's Up, as a matter of fact. That's where I got that from. But yeah, so it's very hard to be a writer in the movies because you don't control very much. They can do, if someone else is paying the bills, they can do whatever they want with it, and you have no control over it. And you'll be the one on the weekend sitting there trying to figure out how to work all these notes they've come up with into the script, and how do you make sense of it? And it's like, and they'll be out golfing or something, they just, on Friday, they just came up with this, throw an alpaca in there. Okay, see you later, guy. And then the rest of the weekend, you're sitting in a room banging your head on the wall going like, how am I going to get this alpaca in there and make sense of this movie,
Where am I getting the alpaca? Amazon.
Right. And then on Monday, inevitably, they come back and they're like, oh, the alpaca thing, forget about it. And you're like, well, shit, thanks a lot, guys.
Right? Yeah, I used Amazon. It's already here.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, that's my spiel.
Down like a sweater.
That's my spiel about being a screenwriter. When you don't direct, if you can direct it, it's hard to work with producers sometimes. Because it's the same kind of thing, because they don't necessarily get it or whatever. But at least you have a fighting chance. If you're just the writer, you're twisting in the wind.
Right. Now you come up with your vision, and they see it, and then they try and change it to make it their vision.
And then at the end of the day,
just clash.
And at the end of the day, it says written by L.C. Holt.
Right.
They don't put their name on it.
So when it gets a bad review, they look at you.
They look at you.
And you're going, I told him no to the alpaca. What the hell?
Exactly.
This is the way it was written. So like we said, we are streaming live on multiple platforms. We have the wonderful Mike Katz back there keeping an eye on things, and on the screen back there, you can't see, we got Mr. Leo Pond. So people watching live, if you have questions or comments for this amazing guest, just get them up in the chat there. Leo will ricochet them off of Mike and off his forehead there, and we can read them, and we'll get them asked. Get them asked. No, I didn't say get a mask. I said get them asked. Oh, I thought you said get them asked. No, drop the M. Add the A. Asked. Yeah. you got something like, well, actually, does anybody here have a question for this gentleman? Look, don't all raise your hand at once, please.
I'm going to start calling on you.
Right?
This is going to be
like, you playing with your phone.
You
with the mask. You got a question for this gentleman up here?
I'm going to be like the school teacher, like you always sink down in the seat because you don't want to be asked. You don't want to ask a question.
Listen, we'll get him a ruler. You can walk around and slap him on the hand.
That's right. Yeah.
Also a question.
Ask me a question.
So what made you want to get into horror versus other genres?
What made me want to get into horror versus other genres? Well, honestly, I didn't care. I loved horror movies when I was a kid. I absolutely loved it. Hellraiser, all the 80s movies I watched when I was a kid, and then into the 90s when horror came back with stuff like Scream. I loved all that stuff. But I never really thought I would be a horror actor, quote. I started out just wanting to be a filmmaker, a director, a writer. And then after I wrote and directed some stuff at school, what I realized was that the only thing you can absolutely count on is that you can't count on other people, especially when they're not being paid. And so then I became an actor. And I was like, well, I'm the only one who's going to be here all the time. So I'll just act in these movies too. And then what happened was I started acting, and then that took off. And then I started doing theater, and after I did theater for a while, I auditioned for this movie called Homesick, which was directed by Adam Wingard, who I've worked with many times. He's my oldest friend in this whole thing, because we both came from Alabama originally. And then after I did that was a horror movie, and then after I did that, I just kept getting these offers and stuff, and now I do primarily horror. But it was never my intention to I would, even now, I would act in anything, really. I mean, being an actor doesn't mean a genre. It just means playing a character. And I think of myself as a character actor. I love playing characters. And that's the kind of acting I like to do.
You've done acting that was even uncredited.
I have done acting that was uncredited.
Right.
Yeah, I did an Al Pacino movie called The Insider, directed by Michael Mann. That was back in '98. And I wasn't credited for that movie.
Yeah, you weren't credited in Big Fish either.
I was not credited in Big Fish. That was, I shot that movie at the same time I shot the first movie I did with Wingard called Homesick. Both of them, so my hair is like the same in both of those. But no, you can't see my hair in Big Fish.
You played a specter, right?
There's a town in Big Fish called Spectre. Has anybody here seen Big Fish, the Tim Burton movie?
Well, we can send them in the back.
Ewan McGregor goes to a town where nobody wears shoes called Spectre. Well, I was in that town. If you look behind, and I was also Steve Buscemi's body double. Steve Buscemi got me that job. Because I'll tell you this story. Do we have time for a quick story?
Absolutely.
All right. Well,
this is your show.
I'm going to take over here. So
it's all you.
So next to the school where I was going to school, there was a little cafe called Cafe Luisa. It was a coffee shop. And I was riding with my mother, rest her soul, and we were going to lunch one day, and she looked out the window of the car and she said, "Dad's that guy in that window right there. He's famous, isn't he?" And I looked over and I was like, "Yeah, that's Steve Buscemi." And she was like, car. And she pulled in there because my mother was always like my biggest promoter. She was like my manager before I had a manager, And she's like, "We're gonna go in there." And I don't think she knew who he was other than the fact he was famous. And because she said, like, what's he been in? And I was like, well, because I couldn't say like Reservoir Dogs or Pulp Fiction because of my mother, So I was like, well, he was just in Ghost World. And so she's like, oh, okay, Ghost World. So we walked into Cafe Luisa, and there's Steve Buscemi, and she walks right up to him. She was like, "I loved you in Ghost World." And so he struck up a conversation. He was a real nice guy. And he started telling me about stuff. He was like, yeah, when I was young, because my mother was like, I didn't have an agent then. My mother was like, well, how do you get an agent? And Buscemi was like, I didn't have an agent for like the first 10 years of my career. Don't worry about it. And he's like, they'll come to you eventually. And so he was a real nice guy. And then he took my name and stuff. And the next thing I know, I got hired on the movie to be his body double. So the moral of that story is if you have a mother that really supports you and you think they might embarrass you, just let them embarrass you because they're going to get you work. Yeah.
Okay, then.
Yeah.
So,
True story.
That's why they always say, and I'd like to thank my mother.
right, that's why they always say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I figured as much.
That's right.
And the father's sitting there going, "I'm the one that threw the ball with you." What?
Yeah, but it's always the mom.
I know.
It's always the mom.
It's all good. It's all good.
So you did some work in bloodlines too, right?
Yeah. That's another one of those movies.
Right.
He really did his research.
You did more research than you needed to.
Before we get into Bloodline, do we have a question?
Yes. So one of our viewers wants to know, what words of wisdom did the great Walter Matthau give you?
Oh, Walter Matthau was a great guy. When I was a kid, and this kind of ties into my mother again too, because I was much younger. I had just done the Forrest Gump audition. I think it was the year after. I lived in a little town called Wetumpka, Alabama. And they had come to the town, Charlie Matthau had come to the town to direct a movie called The Grass Harp, which was based on a Truman Capote story. And it had Walter Matthau, who was his father. Charlie Matthau is the son. And Jack Lemmon was in it, Sissy Spacek, Piper Laurie, who I later did conventions with, who's a sweet lady. I talked to her about that movie. And Joe Don Baker, a bunch of people. And so it's a period piece. So it's set in like the 40s or 30s or whatever. And there's a lot of period cars around. My mother sees the guy who's like wrangling the period cars. And she says, my son wants to be an actor one day. And he wants to be a director to this guy. And the guy goes, oh, okay, cool. And he walks off across the street. Suddenly, Charles Matthau walks out of the house where they're shooting, walks right over to me and my mother, and is like, so I hear you want to be a director one day. Because this guy had gone and told Charles Matthau this. And he's like, well, today you're going to come and be my assistant director. And he showed me and my mother across the street, like nice stuff nobody has to do. You know what I mean?
Right.
And all it takes is that kind of encouragement when you're a kid. And so I went in there and I got to watch him. He let me sit in his director's chair, and I got to watch him direct his dad. And another actor, Ray McKinnon, who's been in a bunch of stuff. He was in Needful Things. He was in Apollo 13. He won an Oscar later for a film he directed. And we spent the whole day like a guest on the set. And Walter Matthau was very, very nice to me. He was a very fun, loving guy and very sweet. And at that time, everyone knew him. He had just done Dennis the Menace too. So, but I was just enamored because he had worked with Elvis.
Right.
And I was like, wow. Like I'm talking to a guy who's like did a movie with Elvis.
Right.
Like, oh, okay. Like this is all I need to know, sort of thing. Yeah, good guy.
Sorry, that was
You got to talk into the microphone.
Yeah, well,
So I came across this. You had it was a weird credit.
Were they talking about
Why do you get credit as a guest?
I was credited as a guest.
Yep.
What for what?
The AFC Indie Filmmaking Podcast.
Oh, I was a guest on that podcast.
Right.
Yeah.
They actually give you credit for that?
I guess so. I didn't
We give
know.
credit to our guests too?
He just does not pay attention.
What is
Yes.
that?
If you go to IMDb, every person that we
I don't go to
interviewed,
IMDb. Yeah.
well, that's because you don't know how to work it yet.
That's my picture's not on there.
Well, pay to put your picture on there like everybody else.
What the hell, I have to pay to put my picture on there?
You do, yeah. You do have to pay to.
Will you
put
explain?
That's
Explain to
cheesy.
we need to reach out to the nursing home soon, folks.
You're too easy to mess
I
with.
haven't used that one in a while.
So, yeah.
But yes, no. Every time we do an interview live during the week, when I do the IMDb credits the next day, they get a credit as being a guest.
Really?
Yeah,
Do I have any credit?
you have a shitload of credit.
Really?
Yeah, writer.
I just want to know, am I going to get credit for this?
Well, I don't know if we'll get credit for this, but I did talk to you off screen, and we will definitely get you booked on either one of our shows or on one of the network shows.
Absolutely, I'd love to. I'd
Yeah,
love
so
to.
Leo, there you go. You can put Mr. L.C. Holt down on your list of guests that we can bring on to some of the shows on the network. We
I
get,
could sit here and talk
we get him
all
first.
night.
I was going to say, we get them first because we rob them first.
That's why I'm just going to start talking to you guys out in the audience here. in a few
Right,
minutes.
yeah. I mean, we got more people filtering in. Does anybody have a question for, oh, we got a hand finally.
You could work with any actor or director, like, of all time, still living, who would it be?
I would like to work with Daniel Day-Lewis. I think I would really like to work with Daniel Day-Lewis. Yeah. Because, you know, there's a story about There Will Be Blood, the guy that originally played Eli in that. The story, and it might be apocryphal, is that he was so intimidated about Daniel Day-Lewis, he couldn't continue, which I find a little hard to believe. That sounds a little like BS to me, but it could be true because, Daniel is a pretty intense guy. But I would love that opportunity. And in terms of like a director, I would like to work with Christopher Nolan. Yeah, I really admire his movies. Some of it's like, but I still really admire his stuff. He doesn't talk down to the audience, and I like that. I like someone that's not going to treat the audience like they're stupid.
Oh, all right. Absolutely.
And a lot of movies do. You know.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, ours don't.
No.
No, they just go, what?
What?
What the hell did I just watch?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Anybody else up there got a question?
No, they're all
Oh,
silent.
they forced us to come
You're
to the room.
and right there with the blonde hair. What's your favorite scary movie?
Oh.
No pressure.
Pressure.
I like Conjuring. I mean, that's a good one.
You like what?
Conjuring,
Conjuring. Oh, the first one?
first, second, and the third, but I don't really like the newest one.
The first, second, and the third, she said. What about the spin-offs? You like those?
Like the Nun and stuff.
Yeah, like the
Yeah.
Nun and the...
The Nun was good. That
Yeah.
was really good. That one got me good.
Cool.
Yeah,
Or like a
that was
newer-
freaky.
I'm just curious. Like, I'll just start calling on people.
Listen,
I'm
like
yeah.
we said, you know,
Yeah, because I think it's interesting to
this
know
is your
these things.
show.
Yeah.
You're just here as guests.
Yeah, you can't kill the boogeyman. What, is a Halloween your favorite movie? Friday the first one? Okay, yeah. First one is pretty good. I mean, the first one has a whodunit, like Time's Up, the movie, plug, you know. The movie I just directed, Time's Up, it has that whodunit kind of aspect, like the first Friday the 13th.
Did we ask you what your favorite horror movie was?
That I could give you. My bodyguard over here asked me that already. He's not going to take credit. He
Is
has to
that
stay
why
in the-
he's bumped and bleeding over there?
He stays in the shadows because we have a secret code between us. And when I do it, I can't show you what it is. Well, not secret anymore. Then he's going to bum rush, you know, whoever comes after me. But yeah, but I've told him I can't say a number one, but I could give you three. I'll give you three. The Exorcist, great movie. Black Christmas, the original. I don't care about any remakes.
That was a good movie too.
And Burnt Offerings, which is, I think, a movie that is underrated, which is a movie from 1977, I think, with Oliver Reed and Betty Davis and Burgess Meredith, and great cast.
Excellent. Oh, God.
I thought,
I went through all of that.
well, that was
You're lucky the police officers still don't walk around. I'd be like, give them a ticket for littering because that's just messed up shit. Yeah, but I'll pick it up when I leave. Yeah, okay. No, I will. And Mike, make sure he picks it up when we leave.
Oh, definitely.
So how are we doing on the stream? We have any questions, comments? Or you're just not paying attention?
We're good.
I looked over, you were sleeping. So what was the most fun you had working on a film?
the most fun I probably had was on You're Next because I got to do all the stunts on that movie. I got to flip the table, which, you know, is
Everybody wants to flip a table.
Yeah, they always talked about, you know, people always ask me about flipping the table, but I got to run and fall and do all the kind of stuff that like little boys like to do, you know, and when they're kids and they want to go out in the backyard and stuff. I got to do it and I got paid for it, and then a cool movie came out of it, you know. But I mean, it's like I always say, really what you get out of these movies is you get the experience of the movie. Like when people ask me, you know, what's your favorite part of Your Next? What I think about most is what it was like shooting it for a month in Missouri. And it's the same with all the others, you know, because what you take away from it as an actor is not the final product. You take away from it the experience of making it, really. Right. Which is why sometimes you can have a bad experience on a good movie, and when people ask you about it, you're like, yeah. You know, and it might be a great movie, it might have turned out well, but all I'm thinking about is like, that asshole. Right? Yeah. But I haven't had a lot of experiences like that, honestly. So I've been pretty lucky.
So you'd say most of your experiences have been good versus...
Most of my experiences have been good. Yeah.
Is that because you're the writer, director, actor?
Well, I've only done that on Time's Up. Most of the time, I'm just an actor.
Oh.
So,
Okay.
So when you're just an actor, it's a lot easier because you don't have all the responsibility on you. So you come in and you do your job. Like I did a movie recently, Go Away, the one I was telling you about, I was in Virginia for. And after directing Time's Up, and I've been working on it for 2 years now, we're in post-production on it. Right now, doing a movie where I was only an actor was like, wow, this is really cool. I don't have to tell everybody what to do, and I have no responsibilities, and I get to go home after I've shot my scenes, and it's a nice, getting back into that. But I still love directing, even though it's a lot of pressure to it.
Now, who did you enjoy working with as far as a co-actor?
Oh man, on any movie?
On any movie.
Well, I like Sharni Vincent. She's terrific. She was the star of You're Next. There are some people on Time's Up I really like working with. I've done 2 movies with Hannah Fierman. I did one it was originally called On Location. I think they've retitled it Terror Trips. It hasn't come out yet, but I've worked with Hannah Fierman twice. And I love working with her. And there's another guy named Cheney Morrow, who I've worked with twice now. And he's a really good friend. He's a good guy. And he's a great actor too. Like he was the one he was in Haunt. He was the ghost in Haunt, and he was in the Wrong Turn remake, and he's been in some other stuff. But he was in this Mark Ruffalo movie called Dark Waters. But yeah, he's a great guy. You should definitely watch out for him because he's one of those guys. Like anything I direct, like you guys. You know, I was saying anything I direct, you can be in. Well, Cheney's going to be in anything I direct. Yeah.
So is it more fun being a killer or being killed?
Well, I've been the killer so much, it's nice to not be killed. I'm not going to say anything about something that hasn't come out yet because I don't want to give away spoilers. But other than things you haven't seen yet, I've never survived a movie. Like I always die in movies. And one of these days, I'm just going to get someone to do one of those YouTube videos where you cut together just me dying. It's like boom, boom, yeah, chopped in half. Oh, the head blown off. Oh, the knife, you know, and just do it like a loop on YouTube. It's like one of those things you watch when you go to bed. Like it goes on for an hour. It's just the same things looping with like nature sounds. But right now I really like the idea of playing good guys because I hadn't done that for a long time.
Right.
And I just did 3 in a row in this last year playing good guys. So I'm kind of starved for some good guys. So
very nice. Well, you're looking at a couple of good guys.
I know, we're all good guys.
Where? They were out there. Oh, well, yeah, they're all good people out there.
Okay, who am I going to call on next? I'm just kidding.
I think you should.
Because it'll just go on forever if I do that. Because I just want to talk to everybody.
Right, yeah, let's call on somebody. Go ahead. Pick somebody. Ask them a question.
Okay, with the coolest face mask in the room with the fangs. Have you seen any of my movies?
Yes.
Which movies have you seen?
I mean, obviously, I'm not a huge fan of your next.
What was your favorite part of your next? And it doesn't have to be something I was in. I mean, I know it's a lot of pressure, and I hate calling on people, but I like talking to you.
This.
I like talking to all of you. So,
I
sorry.
think my favorite is the scene in the kitchen where she takes the blender, slams it on his head, and just blends it.
You like the scene in the kitchen with the blender on the head. Yeah, where Nick Tucci, rest his soul, Nick is no longer with us. Nick was a great, great actor, and he passed away a couple years back. He played Felix in the movie. A great friend of mine. I had a scene in that movie where I grabbed him by the throat and I threw him up against the wall, and I was strangling him up against the wall. And you remember that scene, I'm sure. And I remember afterwards, because I noticed, like, when I did it, like, his head was turning red. His head was turning red because he was being strangled. And because I was really doing it. And I remember after the next day, I was walking to this restaurant and I saw Nick coming the other way, and I was like, hey man, I'm really sorry about like strangling you yesterday for 12 takes, because Adam does a lot of takes. Wingard is not a one take guy, which I'm sure they must have loved on Godzilla versus King Kong, but on that kind of movie, you have plenty of money to do it. But yeah, but he was like, oh yeah, man, no problem. Yeah, do it again sometime. I said, okay, we'll do it. But yeah, I love Nick. We lost Nick way too soon. Right.
Yeah. I'm having fun with this. Go ahead, pick somebody else.
Oh, I'm having a great time. I don't even know how long I've been doing this. I've just been up here talking and like talking to you guys.
I haven't gotten this yet,
Yeah.
so we're still good.
Cool. I would call, like, we got some cool cosplayers over here. Do you want to, Ash, do you want to come up here for just a second and come up for the camera? Can you see me when I stand up?
Oh yeah, we have the
Okay.
entire stage.
I'm going to show off some cool cosplay. And then after that, we're going to sing a song. Come on up here. Check out Ash. Good man. What's your name, Ash? Name is Dekine. Cool. And he came up by my table already too. So Ash, good. That's some good cosplay, buddy.
Right.
Does the shotgun come out, or is it?
Why do you want?
Oh, God,
you
yeah.
want him to kill you?
Nice. Oh, well, you can start taking out the Deadites. So who is the Deadite? All right, man. Thanks, buddy. So there's some good cosplay going on here at the Tidewater Horror Convention.
Absolutely. Maybe we should just let him host all the panels.
Okay, now ready. On the count of three, we're going to sing a song. No, I'm just kidding.
Where's the off button on this thing?
It's one of those songs with like a bouncing ball across the bottom, only we can't see it. Yeah.
I'm sure Leo can handle that, right, Leo? What, the bouncing ball part?
Yeah, maybe. You got that, Leo?
I think
Leo,
that-
you got the bouncing balls.
That's one thing maybe we should just leave alone, the bouncing ball.
Yeah, we probably should.
Leave that sitting on the floor.
I'll add the bouncing ball for next time.
He said he's a bouncing ball for next time.
Oh, okay. All right. He's got to prepare for that one. Right. Usually we throw stuff at him and he's got it. He's like on it.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, damn, they didn't tell me about a bouncing ball. No, but yeah, Leo's good like that. Right. But this show's not about Leo. This show's about Mr. Holt. Okay.
It's about me.
It's about It's about Mr. Holt. That's right.
And all of the people sitting here watching.
So we gave him Mike. What are you currently working on?
Well, like I say, I'm on post-production on Time's Up.
Right.
So that's been a good many months of my life. I just saw this. Actually, it's the second cut I saw last night because we already had an assembly. So I've seen the movie, and we're going back and we're going to do some more like pickup shots, which is very common when you come back and you realize you didn't get the shot of the outside of the school, or you didn't get the shot of the hand picking up the thing or whatever. And then after that, we're going to score. It's being scored by a tremendously talented guy called Alexander Taylor. And has anybody in here seen the movie Nebraska? It's a pretty recent movie. He scored that. He's done a lot of scores actually recently. Great composer, and so yeah, so that's what I've been working on.
Are you writing anything new right now?
I am writing something new right now.
Anything you want to talk about?
I'm writing. I'm writing something that would be horror. Yeah, it would be horror. It's something I think I want to direct, and because we had a lot of locations on Time's Up, like a lot of locations. We moved around. It was a 20-day shoot, and it was a lot moving around for 20 days, and in the cold, But inside and out. So I said the next movie I'm going to do is going to be one location with like 6 people. So it might not be 6 people, but it's going to be fewer locations. Yeah. But I don't know. Story-wise, I think it's too early. Yeah, I'm still working on it.
Oh, that's cool. That's all good.
But there'll be plenty of.
Well, you do know what that means, folks, and that means the folks watching too. That you got to follow this gentleman. You got to follow him on social media. Watch what he's doing because sometimes they leak a little something for you to take a look at.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a trailer for Time's Up coming out pretty soon. It's actually being scored right now by Alex Taylor.
Very nice.
Yeah, he's working on that right now. So that's coming. There's a new poster for it that's coming. There's a lot of stuff on there. I mean, if you guys want to go to Facebook or Twitter and put in Time's Up or me, then you can find it through my stuff. I live stream, I do live streams with some of the cast members every week.
Oh, very nice.
We go on there, to let people know what the process is like, and people who have donated to the film on Indiegogo, to show them, what we do and how we do it. And we got a question, I think.
No, that means we got 5 minutes left.
Oh, we got 5 minutes left. Okay. Well, what are we going to do next?
What I do want to ask you is about your live stream. Where can people see that?
Go to Facebook, my Facebook, L.C. Holt.
L.C. Holt on
I
Facebook?
live stream through there. You can also see it on the Time's Up Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should talk. We should get you running on the network.
I would love to. Yeah, I would love to.
Absolutely. I mean, we're always looking for new content. And
yeah, I'm always. I like doing this kind of stuff. I like just sitting here and talking and
right.
joking around and stuff. It's fun.
Yeah,
it's so much easier than writing and directing a movie.
Well, that is true. That is true.
Yeah.
I mean, you may or may not know this, but Jeff and I did create and write the filming that we're doing. We're also acting in it.
Fantastic.
No.
It's that bad?
No, it's fun.
Oh yeah, okay.
It's just long hours.
It's very long hours.
Very long hours. Because we're responsible for building sets too.
Oh, bless you.
So yeah. Show up at 7 a.m., leave at 3 a.m. Yeah, we know how it is.
Yeah.
Where the hell was I going with that? Beats the hell out of me. That gummy cake. Oh, the gummy cake. Oh yeah, that's wonderful.
You know something I've been watching on YouTube lately?
What's that?
I was watching. Do you guys remember a show? There was a New York public access show called Beyond Vaudeville. And in the 90s, MTV picked it up and made it into a show called Oddville. Do you guys remember that? With Frank Hope and David Green. And David Green would always sit. He was the co-host, but he would sit and he would be like this the whole time.
Oh, kind of like I was.
Yeah. It's a really good show. Like, I want to make a movie with those guys. I want to make a movie with Frank Hope and David Green. And I want to bring back Beyond Vaudeville. Wow. That's what I want to do. If you guys haven't seen it, you should watch it. It's the craziest, weirdest shit I've ever seen in my life, but it's really like compulsively watchable.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So I think you guys would like it. It's kind of like a horror kind of. It's not really horror, but it's out there. If you like David Lynch or something like that, you might like him. So if David Green or Frank Hope is watching this live stream, let's get together. Let's do something.
And if they're not watching it and they're listening to it on one of the podcast platforms later on, that offer would still apply.
That's right.
Yeah. But we did get the 5-minute mark. We have other panels coming on, and due to protocols, we do have to clean the room in between. So, hello, test. Okay, it's working. Where do you like interact with your fans?
Well,
Leo, you do this better than I do.
Like I say, Facebook or Twitter or anything like that. I don't really do Instagram. And I'll tell you why I don't do Instagram. Because it's not that I'm a technophobe. I know this looks like I'm doing something terrible, but I promise it's not.
I thought he was throwing money at us.
Yeah, this is my telephone. I've never gotten a smartphone. I'm getting, I feel like an old man.
Hold on.
And people always
Can you
joke
pull out your
about,
phone again?
yeah, that,
All right, you see the size of that phone and the size of that
Yeah.
phone, right? Yeah, that's genetics, folks.
yeah, I mean, people always ask me, they're like, what is that? Like a little burner phone? Like, what do you
Right,
do?
right.
Sell drugs or
I was
what's
like,
wrong
yeah,
with
what's
you?
he doing with that?
I
I could throw it really far.
I really don't. I just don't like I don't like phones. Like I don't like looking at my phone all the time. I want to be away from people when I want to be away from them, you know?
Right.
Well, you're probably like me, because a phone is supposed to be a phone
A phone.
for phone calls.
That's right.
Nothing else.
Nothing else. And you know,
It took me years
everybody's
just to figure out how to text.
everybody's rolling their eyes at us right now because they're like, you old people, what's wrong with you? Like, and you're probably right. Frankly, you're probably right. But still, that's just the way I am.
Right. So
Facebook, that's how you find me.
Yeah, say that all of that just to get the answer fixed.
And I'll be on my laptop reading it.
Right. So,
Go ahead.
you just screwed me all up. I didn't do anything.
You talked. So, yeah, let's, thank you for joining us. This has been a lot of fun. He'll be, for everybody here, you can find him up there at some table somewhere out in the corner, right?
So
Yeah.
basically, I believe you're in the main room.
Yeah.
I am in the main room, so you can come over and talk to me, and we'll sit here like I'm doing right now, and we'll talk about whatever. We'll talk about Oddville and MTV, and we'll talk about whatever weird stuff you want to.
Excellent.
Ask me about movies or whatever.
So, yeah, like you said, we want to thank you for being at Tidewater Horror Convention this weekend with us all.
Thank you.
Taking time out and entertaining these lovely guests that decided that they really just wanted to come in. They needed a seat, and this is the only place we put chairs.
Were you entertained? Were you okay, good. That's what it's all about, good.
And stay tuned. We'll be back soon.